Anyone who knows me knows how special my dad is to me. Like, in moments of knowing me, you have some information about my dad, because it is very hard for me to go through a conversation without mentioning my darling father. So today I get to do a very different kind of video. As you might have already seen, going by the title of this video, I get to talk about the loss of my dad. And I hope that this gives you an understanding on how to deal with grief. I did not do this video with an intent of solving all the puzzles surrounding grief, because people deal with grief differently. One thing for sure, you are never ready for the loss of a loved one. No one prepares you for that. And well, it doesn't matter whatever surrounds their death, whether it was an accident or they died due to long illness or it was a sudden death. It is very hard for anyone to go through the loss of a loved one. So before we continue, I just hope that you subscribe to my channel, like my videos, that you watch my videos, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. So on this fateful day, on the 21st August 2011, I was with both my sisters and my brother-in-law in Machakos, where my sister worked then. And yeah, it was in the afternoon on a Sunday. We were just chilling. So my sister and the hubby were to step out in the afternoon. But just before they did that, my brother-in-law gets a call. So he received the call and walks out while on call. Of course, the rest of us are just doing our thing in the house. And like, it was quite lengthy, because it took him like about 40 minutes. So he comes back to the house in about 40 minutes, and he tells us that he's gotten a call from one of our uncles telling him that we need to travel home because we need to go see dad. He's unwell, like he's very ill. So we are wondering, how is dad ill? We talked the previous day, he was not in hospital, he did not have anything going on with his health. So we were in shock. So my elder sister goes like, if dad is unwell, why do we need to go see him at home? He's supposed to be in hospital. So we are in shock, and we try to talk about it, like discuss. Then my sister decided to call the uncle. So she calls this uncle of ours, and his phone is off at that point. So she called the wife, that is the auntie now, our auntie, and she picks up, and I don't know what happened. There was a conversation between them, and my sister just started screaming. So we're like, what's up? So the auntie said that we've lost dad. So it was crazy. We started screaming. My brother-in-law is just confused. He didn't know what to do with us. So I remember my sister had a baby, a small baby. He was about 6 months then. So he was just there on the couch. No one is attending to him. So we are all screaming. And my brother-in-law really got confused. I remember in that moment, I picked up my phone. I called my dad. The line actually went through, but no one picked up. So I'm still in denial. I'm wondering, so where do we go from here? What's going on? Like, how do we do this? So my brother-in-law decided to call a few friends of theirs to come to the house, because he was also very confused. So they came over, made a meal for us. I remember no one ate. The baby is still there, so it's them who came to attend to the baby. It was a very crazy moment. So these went on like for the whole afternoon till night. Every now and then I'd pick up my phone and call my dad. So I couldn't just, at this point, I don't think it has actually hit me, like we've actually lost him. So I'm there in confusion, wondering, I think these guys are they're not sure about what they're talking about. So through the night of that day, which was on a Sunday, we were meant to travel the following morning. So we just confused. I think Nililia, I called a few friends, but I couldn't talk, so I hung up. So the following morning, we travel home, and we go have a few family members around. But all this time, I just want to be alone. I don't want to accept that this is true. So we get to find my uncle and get the information about what really happened. So Dad went to church actually on that Sunday. He served in church actively, and after church service he went home. He was alone, so he went home and started preparing lunch. So he did ugali before he did stew. I think that's when the problem started. He was in very much pain, like what our uncle told us. He got a call from our dad saying that he was very unwell. He was feeling pain all over his body. So he called my uncle asking him to go take him to hospital. So he says he got that call. Then a while later he got another call, still from Dad, telling him that it's actually gotten worse, that he needs to go and get Dad to hospital. So he drove there and he found him sweating profusely, and well, he took him to the car and they started driving to the hospital. So he was like, along the way, Dad kept wailing and saying that he was in so much pain, saying nitakufa, nitakufa, like he was really in so much pain. So they got to hospital, and in the examination room, he actually didn't get admitted. While in the examination room, that's when we lost him. So all this time, this information is not actually getting to me. Like, I am still in denial. So the days that followed before the burial, I was so confused. I was in very bad shape. Like, you know, everyone is having their moment of grief in the family. So there's really not anyone you can have this conversation with, because everyone is fighting this battle. So I remember on the day of the burial, that was the longest day, because now the morning comes and we go to the morgue to get Dad's body so that we can go for the burial. So we get there and I'm thinking, these guys still are not sure about what they are saying, because we had not gone to the morgue since we arrived home. So that was the first day there, and the body is brought out. And yeah, so we go to view the body, and that was, I think, the moment where this thing hit me real hard. So I get there and I'm seeing my dad there lifeless, and I don't know, I cannot explain what I felt at that point, but it really broke me. I broke down, I cried, and well, that is when I fell into a really serious dark pit. Like, I actually saw my dad there. For a moment I was like, if I stand here, he probably will see me and, you know, come back to life or something. It was just crazy. So anyway, we went through that, collected the body, and we went home for the burial. So I remember I was to go through my tribute. Actually, it was the tribute on behalf of the whole family. So I read the tribute, and halfway I was still in denial. I remember I read it so well, like, but towards the end I started losing it. Like, I broke down. It was crazy. Yeah, so anyway, we went through that, and we went to the place where we were burying Dad. And while there, I remember it actually registers when you see the body now going down. Like, this is it. You're never going to see this person again, ever. So they're lowering the body and songs are being sung, and that moment is actually, I think, it's usually a few minutes, but it was the longest moment ever, because I'm thinking, no, why are we, like, this is it, you know, we will not have any other moment with Dad, like, he's leaving and he's going down. It was really, really difficult for me. I remember we had family around, a few friends, and guys would tell you things. At that point, nothing makes sense, you know. God has this, God has a plan. You know, at that point you're wondering, what plan? What are you talking about? You know, this is like the most special person to me, and you're telling me God has a plan of taking him away from me at this point. You know, it was very difficult for me to even listen to anyone. So yeah, we buried Dad, and I remember the days that followed were also even harder because I sat alone. I actually became withdrawn from everyone, including my family, for days, months, and even years that followed. I really didn't accept that we had lost Dad. He was like the most special person in my life. He was the closest person in my life, and I even went through a faith crisis. Like, if God, you say you care about me, you love me, why did you let me go through such a thing? You know, you took the most special person in my life away from me, and you care about me. You know, that didn't make sense at all. So I went through a faith crisis. I even almost fell into depression. I went through very weird times with I lost my relationships with my friends. I cut people off my life completely. So it was, I don't know, it was crazy. I have no words to like explain what really happened in those years, because everything would happen and I think, you know, Dad is supposed to be here. He's supposed to be solving these things, like you know, family issues, you know, things just coming up, financial crisis, and I'm thinking if Dad was here, things were going to be different. So those years that followed were really, really hard. Like I remember in school at some point I had to leave school, and all this time I'm thinking, why, you know, Dad is supposed to be here, you know. Now that bit of me letting go never happened, and I will be lying to tell you that it actually happened, because I still have those really long days wondering why he had to go. You know, some days are harder than others. You know, there are those days that you wake up. I remember, like recently, just a few days ago, it marked 9 years since we lost Dad. I remember that day I went to the office and it was really hard because I broke down in the washroom. Then I went to my desk and a colleague of mine was trying to ask what's going on, and it just becomes very hard to be a normal day. So there are days like those where you just wake up and you're just thinking about this person, you know. So I'm there asking God, you know, it's been 9 years. To be honest, I don't even know how I made it 9 years without my dad. But I thank God for my siblings and my mom. We've been together through all this time. It's not been easy at all, but we've been together. You know, people tell you that time heals. I don't know. I think that is debatable. For me, I don't think time changes anything, because I still miss my dad as much as I did on that day that he passed on. I still wish he was still here, you know. Those really long days, you know, and it becomes quite hard to really understand how someone would say that it's a matter of time, or, you know, time heals, and with time you get to outgrow that feeling. It's not the same. I don't know, I will not speak for others, but as for me, I feel like this thing really has a way of coming back to you, like so hard, and it hits you hard in moments when you least expect. So yeah, well, I eventually, of course, I got to accept, you know, you don't see him anymore. But it's crazy just how much I think about him. Sometimes I pick up my phone. I still have the number saved on my phone as Dad. And sometimes I call that line with the hope that someone is going to pick up. You know, I don't know. So recently, I actually called it and hung up. So recently, I was about to compose a message on WhatsApp, and I actually checked the profile picture, and I realized that line was actually sold to someone else. And there was a profile picture of a child. And I'm thinking, wow, you know, someone just goes and people move on. I was feeling like I should have bought that line and kept it. Yani, those things you don't want to let go. You know, sometimes I get the triggers. I see he loved Adidas shoes. So sometimes I see those shoes and I'm thinking about him so bad. Sometimes I see my friends with their dads and I feel my dad is also supposed to be here, or it's Father's Day and everyone is celebrating, and I have to do these messages or these posts just honoring him in his absence, it is actually very hard to accept. But I thank God because I overcame the faith crisis that I was going through, and God has really helped me to heal and accept. But it hasn't been the same. You can say that we've forgotten, we've moved past it. I have personally not moved past it because it keeps coming up over and over. I believe it is prayers and the presence of my family that have kept me going. And you just need a serious support system to help you pull through. So I'll be sharing a few tips that have worked for me over the years to manage grief, and I hope they will help you. So the very first thing, I think you need to accept your feelings. At that point, you will go through a series of emotions: sadness, anger, frustration. Just accept what you're going through at that point. Acceptance is the very first step to healing. Then you also need to talk about it. It worked for me because talking actually gets the weight off your chest. So the more you share with your friends or your confidants or whoever is close to you, your inner circle, the more you keep talking about it, actually gets the weight off your chest. You also need to reach out to some other people going through grief. I know this is weird. It doesn't sound practical because you've not gone through grief yourself. You've not overcome grief. But actually, by reaching out, this happened for me when a few friends of mine lost their parents after I lost my dad. And actually, because I knew very well what it felt like to go through that emotion of losing a father or a mother, like a parent, I would reach out to those friends, be there for them, and just talk them through what the emotions would be, because they haven't been there and I have been there. And by doing that, it actually felt lighter for me. You need to keep memories of your loved ones. I mean, there are those things that person loved. Maybe you have things that you hold dear, things that belonged to them that you can keep and hold dear. I don't believe in discarding every memory, so hold on to those memories. They actually build the happy days. So you also need to ask for help whenever you need it. You can actually be so overwhelmed with stuff, even doing the easiest of things, including taking care of yourself. So if you have people that are so close to you in the house, whatever it is that you feel like is becoming overwhelming, just ask for help. You also need to not make major life decisions. In freshness of grief, it is very easy to make wrong decisions because you're making decisions with a clouded mind. So it is very, very easy for you to make wrong decisions. So make sure that you take time, and until you feel comfortable to do some major life decisions, just do not do them. Remember to take care of yourself. Kindly exercise, groom. You can travel if you like. Whatever it is that makes you happy, go shopping. Just do something that can actually distract you from that grief. You also need to keep it very closely knit with family. You need family more than ever at that point, because it reminds you that you're not the only one going through that grief. So the more people that you actually get to work with, and it would be best for it to be those people that are actually in the same place as you at that point. So remember to keep it very closely knit with family. So the last but not the least, actually the most vital, is prayer. As I said before, prayer has held me. It's actually prayer that has brought me this far. So pray. It is actually very hard sometimes to pray at that point. So you can have a few friends or a few people that are close to you that can stand with you in prayer. So that said and done, I hope this helped someone that is going through grief. It is very hard to go through the loss of a loved one, and my heart goes out to anyone going through that at this point. Love and light to you. Until next time, kindly make sure you subscribe, like, share, and make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend, and hit the notification bell so that you're notified every time I put a video up. Ciao.